fact that you don't have a lot of time and yet you make the time to listen to something on the Mel Robbins podcast that could help you improve your life. I think that is so cool, and I admire that about you. So thank you for spending time together with me. I also wanted to thank you for your excitement about the Let Them Theory book and how it is helping you to stop, thank you, yes, she's excited about it, stop giving your power to other people and take it back and actually take control of your life. In fact, let's practice this right now, right? I mean, melodrama already warmed you up, but you know, what do we say when somebody's really annoying? What do you say when somebody's not changing and it's driving you crazy? What do you say when your mother calls you? And she's going on and on and on about the family stuff, right? What do we say? That's right, that's right. And because you showed up today, here's what I know about you. You're the kind of person that is ready to have a great night. Yes, you are. And you're also the kind of person who's really interested in squeezing as much as you can out of this one amazing life that we have. And I admire that about you. Okay? And look, if you're somebody who is like dragged here, and you're like, what the hell's about to happen? First of all, I don't even know. I don't know what the hell's about to happen. But I do want to say, the reason why you're here is because the person who dragged you here knew that by sticking you in this room tonight, that something cool was going to happen. And they want you to be happier. And they want you to take better care of yourself. And they want you to get clear about what you want next in your life, especially for you guys who are busy taking care of all of us. We want you to take care of yourself and to see a bigger possibility. And I think it's cool that you have somebody in your life that was willing to shove a few drinks at you and then drag you here so I could do some mind control. Because the fact is, you did make a decision to be here. And you always hear me say you are one decision away from a different life. And I believe the decision to put yourself in this room tonight, whether it was just saying, yes, I'll go with you, or it was to buy the ticket and come solo, or it was to go together with some friends or your sister or your mom and dad, the decision that you made tonight, I personally believe, is a new beginning. It is a decision that could change the trajectory of your life. I just want you to consider something. Do you know that 20 miles from here, there are 20.1 million people? But you chose to be here. Yeah, that's right, that says something about you. You're nuts. No, you chose to be here and to put yourself in a room with a bunch of people that want the best for you. In a room with people who are wanting to be happier, wanting to be kind, wanting to get more and do cool things. And that's why the energy is electric. And what I'm excited about is I designed this evening with a particular intention. I designed it for you. I designed it so you would see a bigger possibility for your life. And you would walk out of here pretty clear about what that next thing might be for you. And also that you would have this belief in your ability to actually do it. And that's what's going to happen tonight. And so I want you to be selfish, okay? I want you to be selfish. And so that brings me to that journal, or if you don't have a journal, steal a piece of paper from somebody. I want to start with this question. People literally say to me, so, how did you become Mel Robbins? Like, my parents had sex? You know, look, I know what the real question is. The real question is, well, how did you become the person we see today? You know, the person hosting this podcast and writing these books, a person that's really positive, a person that keeps trying, like all these things. So why don't we start from the beginning? Let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in the Midwest. This is not my street, by the way. I literally just Googled street in the Midwest, suburbia. Kind of looks like, you know, I don't know, about 7 blocks north of where I was, much nicer houses, but we're gonna roll with it. And let me show you some of the photos from the early years. Because my life was probably a lot like yours. I loved bath time. I had lots of friends. I graduated from high school. That's college drop-off. I wish they would bring back that wood paneling. I love the wood paneling. I have a younger brother. I went to law school and was a public defender here in Manhattan. I met my husband, who I've been with for 30 years, Mr. Christopher Robbins, here in Manhattan. right? We got married. We have 3 kids. Our first is Sawyer. She's 26 and wrote the book with me. Our second is Mel Robbins. She's a singer-songwriter in Los Angeles, 24. And then we have Oakley, who just finished his first year of college. Thank you, I almost forgot, you know, menopause. He's 20 years old. And, you know, I'm showing you this photo. This was me at the age of 41. I'm showing you this photo because this is the moment my life fell apart. And you wouldn't be able to tell because I'm smiling. And look, it's not like I tried to mess up my life. It wasn't like I woke up and was like, you know what I'm gonna do today? Today I'm gonna really fuck things up. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm thinking I'm gonna drink a lot, scream at Chris, and, you know, talk about my friends behind their back and show up at work and do nothing. That's what I'm gonna do. I was like everybody else. I was trying to be a good wife and a good mom and a good friend and trying to do a good job at work. If I had had a vision board at that period of time, it probably would have a lot of things that are on your vision board. You know, you're like, oh, beach house, incredible. And crossing the finish line of the New York City Marathon. Oh, and then I'd have $1 million. And I'd have a brand new kitchen with beautiful white cabinets and that marble countertop, maybe a second island if I'm really, really dreaming big. And then if I'm able to do this, maybe I'd have abs on my husband, like give him some abs. Great, fantastic. You know, nobody in the history of vision boards is like, oh, what do I dream about for my life? Bankruptcy, alcoholism, divorce, depression. That's what I want. But isn't life funny? As you're busy living it, sometimes things that you weren't expecting happen, and that's what happened to us. So what happened? It's a simple story. You know, my husband got laid off from work. I was pregnant with Oakley at the time, and he came home and said, hey, I think I want to pursue my dream. I'm like, great, what's your dream? He said, I'd like to open a restaurant. I'm like, a restaurant? You've never even worked in one. I mean, I grew up in the back of the house, the front of the house. I was a bar back, I was a bartender. I think the people that open restaurants either had to work one because it was family business, or they've never worked in one, so they don't know what it's actually like. And I gotta hand it to him. He and his best friend, they opened up a pizza joint. The first one was really successful, and then like complete idiots, we cashed out our entire life savings. Goodbye, kids' college fund. Goodbye, 401k. Hey, let's take out a home equity line, because that's free money. Let's grab some of those credit cards and cash them out. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, did I tell you this was 2008? Oh. Wait, you had a bad year that year? See, and this is the thing. When it happens to you, it's personal. When your life goes off the rails, it is personal. It is so easy to give other people advice because you can see it without emotion. But when it happens to you, I mean, how did I meet this moment? $800,000 in debt. I lost my job. We couldn't pay our bills. Oh, I just basically rose to the occasion like a champ. I drank myself into the ground. I avoided everything I needed to do. And I blamed everything on Chris. Funny, it didn't help. So let me take you back to that moment when my life fell apart. Outside of Boston, Massachusetts, and I was alone in the living room, and I'm having that talk with myself. All right, woman, tomorrow morning, you have got to pull yourself together. You have got to look for a job. You got to be nicer to Chris. You got to stop drinking so much. You got to get those kids on the bus. You got to call your parents and tell them what's going on. You got to call the bank and plead with them not to foreclose on this house. And by God, woman, when that alarm rings, you cannot lay there like a human pot roast, marinating in fear, staring at the ceiling, hoping that this nightmare is gonna end. You, woman, have gotta get out of bed and get that day started. And then all of a sudden, this image flashed across the television screen.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God, it's a sign from God. I heard you, Lord. I got it. Tomorrow morning, when that alarm rings, I am going to launch myself out of bed like a rocket ship. I'm going to move so fast, I'm not even going to be in that bed when that anxiety and that depression hits. Now look, it could have been the 4 bourbon Manhattans I had that night that gave me that idea, because it sounds awfully stupid, right? But that's what happened. And then I went to bed. actually pretty comfortable. Show's over, folks. Hang out right here. Oh. Hello. It's kind of intimate, isn't it? Is there anything in my teeth? This is what Christopher Robbins gets to see. Who am I kidding? The poor man sees an eye mask and a mouth guard and mouth tape, for crying out loud. You know, speaking of being in bed, have you ever noticed that when the alarm rings, you know what you're supposed to do in the morning? And look, I'm not talking to you people who can just spring out of bed. You know, you guys are weirdos. I'm talking to those normal people, right? The alarm rings, you know what you're supposed to do. I mean, you're the one who set the alarm. Last night you were like, okay, 5:55, 6:15, 6:30, 6:47, 7:15, 7:40, 7:57, because that's how fast I'm gonna have to fly out of this bed if I plan on getting these kids on the bus and myself to work on time with 3 minutes to spare. You know, here's the problem though. You know what you're supposed to do when the alarm rings, but then you stop and think about whether or not you feel like getting out of bed. And that is the trap. There you are. The alarm rings. And if you're anything like me, your thoughts are kind of heavy. I hate my life. I hate my husband. This is all his fault. He's not even that cute. What do I care? I'm not that cute right now either. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get out of this? How did I screw things up so bad? Maybe if I just go back to sleep. Maybe this is just one giant nightmare, and maybe I'll wake up and this won't be my life. Yeah, they call it bedrock for a reason. Because the more you lay there, the heavier the thoughts get, and the more it rots out your motivation or your desire to do anything. I mean, that was me for a year. I would just hit that snooze button and lay there. I hate you. I hate this. I hate this. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to get out of it. This sucks. And I don't know what happened that morning. But for whatever reason, as the thoughts were starting to weigh me down and I started to reach for that snooze button like I had done over and over and over and over again, I just started counting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I stood up. Yeah. Darndest thing. You know, but here's the thing. It felt like a small victory because it was. See, every time you stop thinking and you actually push through the excuse, the anxiety, the discouragement, the depression, you win. And it just takes you 5 seconds to go from thinking about something to actually doing it. And that's why I say your whole life comes down to these 5-second windows. Knowing what you need to do, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pushing yourself to do it. And so